You didn't arrive on this planet by accident. Before you took your first breath in this physical body, before your soul descended into the dense matter of Earth, before you forgot the vast cosmic intelligence you carry within your very cells, something extraordinary happened in a dimension beyond human comprehension. The Arcturian Council, those ancient architects of consciousness evolution, who have guided civilizations across multiple galaxies for millions of years, gathered in their chamber of light. And in that sacred space where time moves differently, where past and future collapse into an eternal now, they spoke your name. Not the name your parents gave you, but your true vibrational signature, the frequency pattern that identifies your soul across all dimensions and timelines. They reviewed your soul's journey spanning countless lifetimes. They examined every lesson you had mastered, every trauma you had transmuted, every moment of courage when you chose love over fear. And after careful deliberation, after measuring your energetic capacity and reviewing your soul contract, they made a unanimous decision. You were selected, chosen, approved for one of the most challenging and sacred missions available in this universe. To incarnate on Earth during the most critical transformation this planet has ever experienced. Right now, as you're reading these words, something is stirring in your chest. Perhaps it's a tightness, a warmth, or a subtle recognition that feels both foreign and deeply familiar. That's not anxiety. That's not your imagination creating meaning where none exists. That's your soul responding to truth. That's the part of you that existed before this lifetime, the eternal aspect of your consciousness that remembers standing before the Arcturian Council and saying yes to this mission. Your higher self is confirming what your human mind is just beginning to comprehend. You are not here by chance. You are not a random biological accident stumbling through a meaningless existence. You are a carefully selected agent of transformation, encoded with specific frequencies, equipped with particular gifts, and positioned strategically in this exact time and place for reasons that will become crystal clear as this transmission unfolds. If this recognition is resonating in your body right now, if you feel something ancient awakening in your awareness, go to the comments and write the number 11. This is not a random number. In quantum mathematics, the number 11 represents the gateway between dimensions, the bridge that connects physical reality to higher consciousness. It's the frequency of spiritual awakening and divine alignment. When you write this number, you're not just engaging with content. You're sending a signal through the quantum field back to your own soul, confirming that you're ready to remember why you volunteered for this assignment. You're acknowledging that the veil of forgetting is beginning to lift. Let me take you back to a moment before your birth, to a reality that exists outside the linear time you experience as a human. Picture a vast chamber constructed entirely of crystalline light, pulsing with geometries that would overwhelm human perception. This is where the Arcturian Council convenes, when souls of significant potential are being considered for Earth missions during critical evolutionary windows. You were there, existing as pure consciousness, as an energetic being of immense capability and wisdom. You had already lived hundreds, perhaps thousands of lifetimes, across various star systems and dimensional planes. You had served as a healer on Pleiadian colonies. You had functioned as a temple guardian on ancient Atlantis before its fall. You had walked as a wisdom keeper in civilizations that existed long before recorded human history. Your soul was not inexperienced. You were not a novice consciousness being sent on your first mission. The Arcturian Council does not waste precious incarnation opportunities on souls who haven't proven their capacity to navigate density, only to maintain light in darkness, to remember truth while surrounded by illusion. The lead Arcturian, and being of such refined frequency that its very presence would feel like standing in front of a star, addressed you directly. Its communication didn't come through words as you understand them now, but through pure thought transmission, through packets of information that download entire concepts in single moments. It showed you Earth's timeline, the multiple probable futures branching out like an infinite tree. It showed you the version of Earth's future, where humanity awakens, where consciousness expands collectively, where technology and spirituality integrate, where abundance flows freely and war becomes obsolete, where the planet herself is honored as the living being she is. And then it showed you the alternative timelines, the probable futures where humanity remains locked in fear, where division deepens, where environmental collapse accelerates, where the opportunity for collective ascension is missed. Both futures existed as potentials in that moment. Both were equally possible. And the Arcturian made it clear that souls like yours, star seeds carrying specific activation codes and frequency signatures, would be the determining factor in which timeline manifests. You were shown exactly what incarnating on Earth would entail. Nothing was hidden from you. They didn't sugarcoat the difficulty or minimize the challenges you would face. You saw yourself as a child, feeling different, not quite fitting into the boxes that society demands. You saw yourself going through painful relationships that would crack your heart open. You saw career confusion, financial struggles, health challenges, periods of deep depression and existential crisis. You saw yourself feeling alone, misunderstood, sometimes questioning your own sanity as your sensitivity and perception exceeded what the people around you could comprehend. You witnessed every dark night of the soul you would endure, every moment you would forget who you truly are, every instance you would doubt whether life had meaning or purpose. They showed you the full weight of the forgetting, the density of third-dimensional reality, the thickness of the veil that would drop over your cosmic memory the moment you entered a human body. And you looked at all of it, at every obstacle and every hardship, every trauma you would need to heal, and every limiting belief you would need to dismantle. And you did not hesitate. You did not ask for an easier assignment. You looked directly at the Arcturian Council, and you volunteered anyway. Do you understand what that means? Do you grasp the magnitude of courage that required? You chose the most difficult planet in this sector of the galaxy during its most volatile period of transition. You chose to incarnate into a species that had been programmed for thousands of years to forget its divine nature, to believe in separation, to fear its own power. You chose to enter a reality where the majority of humans are still asleep, where speaking truth often leads to ridicule, where your natural gifts would be dismissed as imagination or delusion. You chose to forget everything you knew, to start from zero with no conscious memory of your vast capabilities or your cosmic heritage, and to find your way back to remembrance through direct experience. That's not naivety. That's not foolishness. That's the choice of a master soul, an advanced consciousness with absolute faith in its ability to complete the mission, regardless of how lost it might feel along the way. The Arcturian Council outlined your specific assignment, the unique role that only you could fulfill because of your particular frequency signature and soul history. Some of you were selected as frequency holders, souls whose primary function is simply to maintain a stable high vibration in chaotic environments, to be the calm center in the storm. Others were chosen as grid workers, positioned geographically in specific locations to anchor light into Earth's crystalline matrix at precise coordinates. Some were designated as way showers, mozoles who would go first into the darkness, transmute it within their own being, and create pathways for others to follow. Others were selected as bridge builders, souls with the capacity to communicate across different levels of consciousness, translating higher dimensional wisdom into language that sleeping humans could begin to comprehend. And some were chosen as system disruptors, souls who would incarnate directly into broken structures, family systems, institutions, corporations, and governments, not to fix them, but to expose their dysfunction so completely that they would have to collapse and rebuild on new foundations. Your soul reviewed the contract, the specific agreements and parameters of your Earth mission. You saw the family you would be born into, and you understood why that particular lineage was chosen. Perhaps it was because you needed to heal specific ancestral wounds that had been carried through your genetic line for generations. Perhaps it was because you needed to learn particular lessons that only that family dynamic could teach. Or perhaps it was strategic positioning, placing you in a specific socioeconomic class, geographic location, or cultural context that would give you access to certain people or situations essential to your mission later in life. You saw the people you would meet, the soul contracts you had already established with other beings who would play significant roles in your awakening. Some of them would be catalysts, people who would hurt you or betray you in ways that would force you to develop strength and discernment. Others would be mirrors, or reflecting back aspects of yourself you needed to see and integrate. And a few would be true soul family members, fellow starseeds who would recognize you when the timing was right, and walk beside you as you remembered who you are. The Arcturian Council explained the mechanism of the veil, how your cosmic memory would be temporarily locked behind energetic seals within your consciousness. This wasn't punishment or limitation. This was essential design. If you incarnated with full memory of your multidimensional nature, with conscious access to all your capabilities, you would never have authentic human experience. You would never truly understand the density, the fear, the limitation that keeps most humans trapped in survival consciousness. And without that understanding, without that direct embodied experience of forgetting, you could never effectively guide others through their awakening. You had to become fully human, to lose yourself completely in the illusion, so that your journey back to remembrance would create an energetic pathway through the collective field that others could follow. Your personal transformation would become a template, a vibrational blueprint, accessible to anyone whose frequency reached the level where they could perceive it. They also showed you the activation timeline, the sequence of events and experiences that would gradually unlock your dormant abilities and reactivate your cosmic consciousness. These activations wouldn't happen randomly. They were precisely timed to occur when your nervous system had developed enough capacity to handle expanded awareness without fracturing. Too early, and the influx of cosmic energy could cause psychological breaks. Too late, and you might become so identified with human limitation that you'd be unable to shift out of it. The Arcturian Council calibrated your activation sequence with extraordinary precision, embedding specific triggers into your timeline. Certain people you would meet at exact ages, particular books or information that would find you when you were ready, dreams and visions that would begin intensifying at predetermined junctures, physical locations that would activate dormant codes when you visited them, even illnesses or crises that would force you to stop, to go inward, to question everything you thought you knew about reality. In the comments, write the number 33 if you've experienced unexplainable synchronicities that led you to life-changing information or people. The number 33 is the master teacher frequency in quantum numerology, representing the Christ consciousness and the completion of spiritual mastery. When this number appears in your life repeatedly, it's a signal from the Arcturian Council that your teaching phase is activating, that you're ready to share wisdom, not just receive it. By writing this number, you're confirming to the quantum field that you recognize these divine orchestrations weren't coincidences, but deliberate guidance from your higher self and your cosmic support team. Before you incarnated, you were also given certain gifts, specific abilities, encoded into your energetic template that would serve your mission once activated. Every starseed receives a unique combination depending on their assignment. Some received heightened empathic abilities, the capacity to feel what others feel with such accuracy that you could literally absorb and transmute the emotional density in any environment you entered. Others received intuitive downloads, the ability to access information from the quantum field without going through traditional learning processes, to simply know things you've never studied. Some received healing frequencies in their hands or voice, the capacity to transmit coherent energy that helps other systems reorganize and come back into alignment. Others received visionary perception, the ability to see beyond the physical into energetic realms, to perceive auras, entities, timeline potentials, or the living consciousness that animates all things. And some received the gift of translation, the ability to take complex, multidimensional concepts and ground them into clear language and practical application that third-dimensional consciousness can grasp and utilize. But here's what the Arcturian Council made absolutely clear, and this is crucial for you to understand. These gifts were never meant to make you special or superior. They were tools, nothing more. Frequency instruments designed for a specific purpose, to assist in the collective awakening of humanity. The moment you begin using them for ego gratification, for personal power, for manipulation or control, they begin distorting. The clarity fades. The downloads become mixed with mental noise. The healing capacity diminishes. These abilities only function at their full capacity when wielded from a place of genuine service, true of humble recognition that you are a conduit for something far greater than your individual self. The Arcturians emphasized this point repeatedly. You are not special because you carry these gifts. You are responsible because you carry them. And responsibility means using them wisely, ethically, in alignment with the highest good of all beings. You were also warned about specific challenges you would face that are unique to starseeds, difficulties that ordinary humans don't encounter because they're not carrying the same frequency or assignment. The first challenge is existential loneliness, a bone-deep sense of not belonging that goes beyond normal social isolation. This isn't just about not fitting in with your peer group or feeling different from your family. This is the loneliness of being an ancient soul in a young species, of carrying memories and awareness that you cannot share with anyone around you without sounding delusional. It's the isolation of perceiving multiple dimensions simultaneously, while everyone else sees only the physical. The Arcturians explained that this loneliness is actually a homing signal, an internal compass constantly pointing you back toward your true nature. It's meant to be uncomfortable enough that you never fully settle into the illusion, never become so identified with human limitation that you forget why you came. The second challenge is energetic sensitivity that can feel like a curse rather than a gift, especially during childhood and adolescence, before you learn to manage it. You absorb everything, the emotions of people around you, the thought forms floating through collective consciousness, the frequencies of places and objects, the pain and trauma stored in Earth's morphogenic field. Without understanding what's happening, many starseeds grow up believing something is wrong with them, that they're broken or defective because they feel too much, because crowds overwhelm them, because they need excessive alone time to function, because certain people or environments literally make them physically ill. The Arcturians showed you that this sensitivity wasn't a flaw in your design. It was a finely calibrated instrument, a sophisticated sensory system that allows you to read the energetic reality beneath surface appearances. But like any advanced technology, it requires training to use effectively. Most of that training would have to happen through direct experience, through trial and error, but through learning your own system's limits and needs. The third challenge is the mission memory paradox, the cruel irony that you volunteered for an assignment of immense importance, but wouldn't be able to remember what that assignment was for most of your life. You would feel a persistent sense that you're here for something significant, some purpose that matters deeply, but the details would remain frustratingly vague. This would create years of searching, of trying on different identities and careers and spiritual practices, looking for the thing that would finally make you feel like you found what you came here to do. The Arcturians explained that this searching phase, though agonizing, was actually essential. It forced you to develop skills you didn't know you'd need. It exposed you to diverse perspectives and populations you wouldn't have encountered otherwise. It deepened your compassion through repeated failure and humiliation. And most importantly, it kept you humble, prevented your ego from claiming ownership of your mission before you were mature enough to handle that level of responsibility without corruption. You were shown that approximately between the ages of 28 and 42, sometimes earlier for souls with accelerated contracts, your mission details would begin clarifying. Not all at once in some grand revelation, but gradually, through accumulating experiences and insights that would eventually form a coherent picture. You would start recognizing patterns in your life that weren't random. The challenges you faced weren't obstacles to your purpose, they were preparing you for it. The pain you endured wasn't meaningless suffering. It was developing specific capacities your mission required. The people who hurt you weren't villains in your story. They were playing roles you had actually agreed to before incarnating, helping you develop the exact qualities and wisdom you would need later. This reframe, this shift in perception from victim consciousness to recognizing the intelligence orchestrating your entire journey, would mark a crucial turning point in your awakening. If you're currently in this age range, or have already passed through it, and experienced this mission clarification, write the number 144 in the comments. This is the frequency of the Fibonacci sequence appearing in quantum mechanics, representing divine order and the mathematical perfection underlying all creation. The number 144 also relates to the 144,000 starseeds mentioned in ancient prophecies, though the Arcturians clarify that this number is symbolic rather than literal, representing a specific frequency signature rather than an exact count. When you write 144, you're declaring to the quantum field that you recognize the divine orchestration of your life, that you're ready to step fully into your assignment with conscious awareness and commitment. The Arcturian Council also prepared you for the phenomenon of timeline jumping, something that would begin occurring more frequently as your vibration elevated and you started consciously creating reality rather than unconsciously reacting to it. They explained that physical reality is not nearly as solid as human senses perceive it to be. You exist simultaneously across infinite parallel timelines, not each one representing a different choice, a different probability. Most humans remain locked on a single timeline their entire lives because their consciousness never expands enough to perceive the other options. But starseeds, especially once their abilities activate, begin experiencing spontaneous quantum leaps where their consciousness literally shifts from one timeline to another. You might notice that people in your life suddenly remember shared experiences differently than you do, or that physical objects appear and disappear, or that situations you were certain were resolved suddenly require your attention again as if they never got handled. This isn't faulty memory. You're actually shifting between parallel versions of reality, and each version has slightly different details and histories. But they warned you that this timeline fluidity would intensify dramatically during the years leading up to and following 2020, a period they identified as the Great Bifurcation, when humanity's collective timeline would split into distinctly different probable futures. Some humans would choose, whether consciously or unconsciously, to remain in fear-based realities of increasing control, scarcity, and separation. Others would choose to elevate into love-based realities of freedom, abundance, and unity consciousness. And starseeds would find themselves functioning as anchors and bridges, holding frequency high enough to create gravitational pull that makes it easier for sleeping humans to make the leap to higher timelines. Your personal stability, your refusal to collapse into fear, regardless of external circumstances, your commitment to choosing love even when hate would be justified, all of this creates an energetic field effect that literally makes Ascension more accessible for everyone in your sphere of influence. The Arcturian Council made one thing absolutely clear before you incarnated. You would not complete this mission alone. You would never be truly abandoned, though there would be periods where it felt that way. You were assigned a support team, a group of beings from various dimensional planes and star systems who would remain with you throughout your entire Earth journey. Some of them are Arcturian guides, aspects of the collective consciousness that maintains constant connection with you even when you're completely unaware of their presence. Others are members of your soul family, beings you've worked with across multiple lifetimes and dimensions who chose to remain in non-physical form this time to support your physical mission. And some are aspects of your own higher self, the expanded version of your consciousness that exists beyond time and space, that can see your entire life simultaneously and send you guidance from that elevated perspective. This support team communicates with you constantly, though rarely through the dramatic methods that movies and books portray. They're not going to appear in glowing robes with urgent messages. Their guidance comes through what seems like your own intuition, through sudden knowing that arises without logical process, through the quiet voice that suggests you take a different route home. And by doing so, you avoid an accident or meet someone crucial to your mission. They communicate through synchronicities, through repeating numbers and symbols, through songs that play exactly when you need to hear their lyrics, through animals that appear with uncanny timing, through dreams that are too vivid and coherent to be random subconscious processing. They're guiding you every single day, orchestrating coincidences and opportunities, protecting you from situations that would derail your mission, and amplifying the consequences of choices that align you with your highest path. Your consciousness is receiving this transmission right now because you've reached a critical juncture in your mission timeline. Something significant is shifting in your reality, whether you've consciously noticed it yet or not. The Arcturian Council has authorized an acceleration of your awakening process. Abilities that were meant to activate gradually over years are being fast-tracked. Information that you would normally access through lengthy study is being downloaded directly into your awareness. Connections with other awakened souls that might have taken years to manifest are being expedited. Why?